welcome back to Project Aviate. Today, we uncover the untold story of the Boeing 747, the legendary queen of the skies. This isn't just about an aircraft, it's about an icon that transformed global travel, redefined luxury in the air, and became a symbol of human ambition and engineering brilliance. Our journey begins in the 1960s, when the world of aviation looked very different. Airports were buzzing with propeller planes and the first generation of jets like the Boeing 707 and the DC-8. For most people, air travel was still a privilege of the wealthy, with high ticket prices and limited seats. Airlines wanted something bigger, faster, and more economical, a plane that could carry twice the passengers of existing jets and bring air travel within reach of ordinary families. The idea of a giant double-decked airplane was born, and the responsibility to bring this dream into reality fell on Boeing. Engineers and designers pored over sketches and blueprints, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. What they envisioned was bold, an aircraft so large it would require the world's biggest building just to assemble it. In Everett, Washington, Boeing built a massive factory, still the largest building by volume on the planet, to house the birth of their new jet. Workers swarmed the site, welding, riveting, and piecing together a fuselage unlike anything seen before. The aircraft was to be called the Boeing 747, and it would soon capture the imagination of the world. In 1969, the world witnessed the dramatic rollout of the very first Boeing 747. Painted in red, white, and silver, the prototype towered over the crowd. Journalists, airline executives, and workers who had dedicated years to this project stood in awe. This was more than a plane, it was a revolution on wheels, sitting there on the tarmac, ready to change history. Soon after, the 747 took to the skies for its first test flight. Its enormous wings, iconic hump, and four powerful engines lifted gracefully into the air. Test pilots marveled at how smooth and stable the giant felt. Despite its size, the Queen of the Skies proved she could fly with elegance. Pan Am, one of the most influential airlines of the era, was the first to put the 747 into service. At New York's JFK Airport, crowds gathered to witness the first passengers boarding this massive airliner. The Pan Am livery proudly displayed on the fuselage symbolized the dawn of a new age. With seating for more than 350 passengers, the 747 slashed the cost of long-haul travel, opening the world to millions who had never dreamed of flying across oceans. Step inside, and the magic continues. In the 1970s, the interiors of the 747 were unlike anything else in aviation. Spacious cabins, wide aisles, and even lounges gave passengers a sense of comfort and glamour. The spiral staircase leading to the upper deck became one of the most iconic features of the plane. Airlines transformed the upper deck into lounges, bars, and even piano bars, creating an atmosphere of airborne luxury. For the first time, the journey itself became part of the adventure. In those days, flying the 747 wasn't just about getting from one city to another, it was an event. On the upper deck, passengers sipped cocktails, listened to live piano music, and looked down on the world from the clouds. The Queen of the Skies made air travel glamorous, democratic, and unforgettable all at once. By the 1980s, the 747 had become the backbone of global aviation. At major hubs around the world, airports filled with rows of 747s painted in the colors of dozens of airlines. Whether it was British Airways, Lufthansa, Qantas, or Japan Airlines, nearly every major carrier had their own fleet of 747s, carrying millions of passengers across the Atlantic, Pacific, and beyond. But the 747 wasn't just a passenger plane. Its unique design made it a perfect cargo aircraft. The freighter version, with its hinged nose door, could carry cars, helicopters, and massive containers that no other aircraft could handle. This gave the 747 a second life, serving industries and militaries around the globe. Perhaps the most famous variant of all became Air Force One. Painted in its distinctive blue and white livery, the 747 served as the flying White House for U.S. presidents. It carried not just leaders, but also the weight of history, transporting American presidents across continents in times of crisis, diplomacy, and triumph. As technology advanced, so did the 747. The introduction of the 747-400 in the 1990s brought winglets, new avionics, and longer range. With airlines like British Airways, Singapore Airlines, and United, the 747-400 became the most recognized version, flying passengers non-stop between cities oceans apart. Then came the final evolution, the 747-8 Intercontinental. Sleeker, longer, and more efficient, it offered modern updates while preserving the unmistakable silhouette of the Queen of the Skies. It symbolized Boeing's dedication to keeping the legend alive in a world that was beginning to favor smaller, twin-engine jets. Yet all legends must one day bow out. As airlines transitioned to more fuel-efficient aircraft like the Boeing 787 Dreamliner and Airbus A350, the mighty 747 slowly began its retirement. Across the deserts of Arizona and California, rows of queens now sit quietly, their paint fading under the sun, once majestic giants now grounded forever. Still, for those who have flown on her, piloted her, or simply watched her thunder down the runway, the Boeing 747 will never be forgotten. She was more than an airplane, she was a gateway to the world, a unifier of continents, a canvas of memories for millions of travelers. And even today, as the sun sets behind the silhouette of a 747 climbing into the golden sky, the title remains true: she is, and will always be, the Queen of the Skies. That's the untold story of the Boeing 747, a machine that changed the course of aviation history and touched countless lives. If you enjoyed this journey into the heart of aviation, make sure to subscribe to Project Aviate, where we bring you more incredible stories of the aircraft that shaped our skies.